Electric fungi, the biobattery that needs to be fed. Date, January 9th, 2025. Source, Swiss Federal Laboratories for Materials Science and Technology, IMPA. Summary: a battery that needs feeding instead of charging? This is exactly what researchers have achieved with their 3D printed biodegradable fungal battery. The living battery could supply power to sensors for agricultural or research in remote regions. Once the work is done, it digests itself from the inside. Full story. Fungi are a source of fascination. This kingdom of life, more closely related to animals than plants, encompasses an enormous variety. Everything can be found here, from edible mushrooms to molds to a single-celled life to the largest organism on Earth. From disease-causing pathogens to superheroes that produce medicines, now IMPA researchers have coaxed another ability out of fungi: generating electricity. As part of a 3-year research project supported by the Gerbit-Ruft-Stiftung, as part of their microbials funding program, researchers from IMPA's Cellulose and Wood Materials Laboratory have developed a functioning fungal battery. The living cells do not produce a whole lot of electricity, but enough to power a temperature sensor for several days, for example. Such sensors are used in agriculture or in environmental research. The biggest advantage of the fungal battery: unlike conventional batteries, it is not only completely non-toxic but also biodegradable. Strictly speaking, the cell is not a battery, but a so-called microbial fuel cell. Like all living things, microorganisms convert nutrients into energy. Microbial fuel cells make use of this metabolism and capture part of the energy as electricity. Until now, they have been mostly powered by bacteria. Quote, "For the first time, we have combined two types of fungi to create a functioning fuel cell," end quote, says IMPA researcher Carolina Reyes. The metabolisms of the two species of fungi complement each other. On the anode side, there is a yeast fungus whose metabolism releases electrons. The cathode is colonized by a white rot fungus, which produces a special enzyme allowing the electrons to be captured and conducted out of the cell. The fungi are not planted into the battery, but are an integral part of the cell from the outset. The components of the fungal battery are manufactured using 3D printing. This allows the researchers to structure the electrodes in such a way that the microorganisms can access the nutrients as easily as possible. To do this, the fungal cells are mixed into the printing ink. Easier said than done. Quote, "It is challenging enough to find a material in which the fungi grow well," end quote, says Gustav Nystrom, head of Cellulose and Wood Materials Lab. Quote, "But the ink also has to be easy to extrude without killing the cells. And of course we want it to be electrically conductive and biodegradable," end quote. Microbiology meets electrical engineering. Thanks to their laboratory's extensive experience in 3D printing of soft bio-based materials, the researchers were able to produce a suitable ink based on cellulose. The fungal cells can even use the cellulose as a nutrient and thus help break down the battery after the use. However, their preferred nutrient source is simple sugars, which are added to the battery cells. Quote, "You can store the fungal batteries in a dried state and activate them on location by simply adding water and nutrients," end quote, says Reyes. Although the robust fungi survive such dry phases, working with living materials posed a number of challenges for the researchers. The interdisciplinary project combines microbiology, materials science, and electrical engineering. In order to characterize the fungal batteries, trained microbiologist Reyes not only had to learn electrochemistry techniques, but also had to adapt them to 3D printing inks. The researchers now plan to make the fungal battery more powerful and longer lasting, and to look for other kinds of fungi that would be suitable for supplying electricity. Quote, "Fungi are still under-researched and underutilized, especially in the fields of materials science," end quote. Reyes and Nystrom agree. End of article.